Hello, good evening sa lahat.
Evening. What's up? Wala tayong technical ngayon, difficulties,
Oo.
Smooth ang ating broadcast.
What's up? Okay, good evening
Oo.
sa ating lahat. Welcome to Throwback Kasaysayan. Ako si Jio Guiang, Assistant Professor mula sa UP Department of History. Kasama ko ngayong gabi ang aking co-host.
Hello, Aaron Viernes, instructor from the UP Department of History.
Yan,
Kamusta?
and soon to be Assistant Prof.
Magbatiin
Magtatapos
pero
na
pangarapin.
So, today is March 17, 2022, Thursday, and Throwback Kasaysayan, katulad ng sinasabi natin, every episode is a show that talks about relevant or pressing socio-political issues and looking at what is very historical about them, highlighting the historic roots of present-day problems. But because also, and also because this is a history show, we talk about the new things about the discipline of history.
Yes,
Ano yung
tama
mga
yan.
annual commemorations na ginagawa natin na related sa kasaysayan? Ano yung bagong interpretations? Ano yung mga interesting things about sa disiplina ng kasaysayan, no? And yan ang magiging paksa natin for tonight. It's all about the discipline of history, particularly a subfield of history. Anong subfield to, Aaron?
Particularly local history yan, no? At dahil yun ang topic natin, meron tayong i-highlight na kumbaga initiative, no? Para mas mapalitaw, no, yung isa sa mga pwede nating tignan na local histories, no, ng bansa, no? Yes, Kuya Gio.
And ang daming tinitingnan ko ngayon yung copy nung
Oo, maganda yung copy.
Mamaya ko na i-reveal kung ano to. Pero mamaya na, yan, nakikita naman natin.
Yan lang, pinapakita ko lang. Maganda kasi yung kulay Favorite ko.
Ako rin, favorite ko. Anyway, para alamin yung specific topic natin for tonight at malaman kung ano ba yung hawak ni Aaron Viernes, saan tayo magtutungo?
Pumunta tayo sa pulso ng bayan. Ayan. Nako.
Ayan. Yung hawak ni Aaron.
Reveal na ba? Reveal?
Meron tayong ito. Nakikita sana ng ating mga viewers sa kanilang screens. Ayan. Wait lang. Ayan.
Hindi pa pala reveal. Ayan, reveal na. Ayan,
reveal na.
Very nice. Very nice copy. Malinis tingnan.
Dapat pala unboxing yung ginawa natin, no?
Sayang.
And this is very, very impressive. Hindi ako expert sa journals, but alam mo naman, Aaron, being students of history, we always use academic journals.
Yes.
And especially before the pandemic, we relied on printed material, and we have the print copy here.
Yan. Salamat po sa isa sa ating mga guests for giving us the complimentary copy.
Oo. Ang title ng journal is Saysay, the Journal of Bikol History, and this is their maiden issue, issue 1, 2021. And it features 4 very, very interesting journal articles, studies, recent studies on Bicol history. Ganda, Aaron, no?
Oo.
Ang ganda ng quality.
On archaeology, history.
Yeah, and so ito ang paksa natin for tonight. We focus on local history, particularly local history of Bicol. I think, di ba, Aaron, this is not the first time na nag-local history tayo ng Bicol.
Oo, parang several months or several episodes ago, seasons, no? Ay nag-highlight na rin tayo ng local history.
And yung isa sa mga guests natin ay siya din yung mga kasama. Isa sa mga resource persons natin on that topic ay makakasama natin for tonight. And both of them, dalawa ang guests natin, kagaya na nakita sa ating publicity materials kagabi na nirelease. Nirelease yan sa Quarantalk media page. So, i-like and
follow po natin, like natin.
Quarantalk media page. Facebook page. So, dalawa are members of the editorial team of Saysay, the Journal of Bikol History. So, wag na natin patagalin pa, Aaron.
Yes, let's go to our throwback lecture. Nako. Ayan.
Okay.
Sino ba
Sige.
yung mga guests? Sir Gio.
Ikaw, Aaron, pakilala mo yung ating talagang
Siyempre,
Suki,
ito ay
kita.
batikan na rin, no? Sa Throwback Kasaysayan, ilang beses na nating naimbita. No? At lagi itong generous. Nagpapa-unlock lagi sa ating mga imbitasyon. At sabi ko nga, no, nagpadala pa ng complimentary copy. Yung kasama natin sa Department of History, Professor Jai Rugeria. Good evening, Sir Jai.
And
Hello,
Aaron, magandang gabi sa inyo at
Yan.
magandang gabi rin sa lahat ng tagapanood ng Throwback Kasaysayan.
This is the 100th guesting. Joke.
Ay, episode
Times
56
2 na
pa lang
pala,
tayo. Salamat for having me again.
Of Jai. And we were talking about this. This is very. We'll get into this later. Congratulations.
Maraming salamat.
Yes,
Cheers.
congrats.
Thanks, Aaron.
Bukod si Jai ay ating colleague sa History Department ng UP. Siya ay pakita natin,
Editor.
ng ayan. Para ganun, alam mo yung mga
Ito na pala yung
Cheers.
product po namin. Ayan.
yung mga product reveals, di ba?
Naging live selling yung Throwback
Live
Kasaysayan.
selling. Editor ng Saysay Journal of Bikol History. And our second guest, and this is the first time na guesting ng ating susunod na panahuin.
At saka kaya sabi ko rin magbebehave ako ngayon. So kasama natin si Father Francis Tordilla. Yan. Siya naman yung associate editor of Saysay, the Journal of Bikol History. Good evening, Father.
Hello, good evening.
Shrine of Saint Jude Thaddeus. Yan, makikita natin dyan. No? Hello, Father.
Hello, Gio, Aaron, and Jai. Salamat sa invitasyon. Alam niyo naman, Parish priest ako. So, nilagay ko na yung link dun sa group chat ng buong parokya. So, I think hopefully may parishioner na nanonood yun sa atin.
Magandang gabi po sa ating mga
Magandang gabi po
tagapanood.
sa nanonood sa Bicol, no? Archdiocesan
Naga
Shrine of Saint Jude Thaddeus. Tama ba, Father?
Yes, tama. Shrine kami.
Oo.
So, Saint Jude Thaddeus.
Hello sa mga taga-Naga. Naga, tama. Naga. No, hello. Shout out from our different locations, no? I think magkasama si Father nasa Bicol, si Father at si Jai, no?
Yeah.
And
In
Aaron,
fact, parishioner
Yes,
ko to si Jai. Si Jai is also
Ah.
Sa St. Jude.
behave yan.
Mabait tayo pag nasa si Father.
Aaron is in Bulacan, I am in QC.
Yes
Ay, nawala.
po.
Ano yun? Okay, Aaron's in Bulacan and
Live
then
from Bulacan.
we're from different places. But let's get into the meat of the discussion.
Yan na.
Our audience is anticipating what Saysay, the Journal of Bikol History, is all about. So to shoot out the first question, ano yung inspiration for this academic journal and when was it formed? How was it formed? I understand that this is the first issue dated 2021, but I anticipate the rigors of and then the logistical nightmares of nahulog tayo of building a journal from scratch. So ano yung
Inspiration.
what was the inspiration and how was it formed and when was it exactly formed? Sige, any of our guests can answer.
Take it away, Jai.
Sige, Father. Well, Saysay, the Journal of Bikol History is actually part of a larger project. Yun yung Saysay Bicol na organization. Ano? At binuo namin ito last year. Mag-1-year-old kami this March actually. March 13, yung unang pag-convene namin. Just a group of friends, acquaintances na mahilig sa kasaysayan. Tapos nag-usap-usap kami kung ano yung mga pwede naming i-pursue ng mga proyekto. At isa yung journal doon sa mga proyekto na iprinopose ng research committee. So nasa ilalim siya ng committee ko. At ito yung publication na gagawin ng Saysay Bicol every year. Hopefully, masustain namin siya in the long run. At yung nag-inspire talaga sa journal would be the dearth of refereed publications on Bicol history. Kasi maraming ipapublish na mga individual efforts on Bicol history, pero kadalasan hindi talaga siya dumadaan dun sa rigorous na sinasabi ni Jio Guiang na proseso ng peer review. At alam naman natin sa academic publishing, para magkaroon ng credibility yung pinapublish natin na articles, no? Kailangan dumaan siya sa isang mabusising pagbabasa ng mga reviewers natin, yung mga peer reviewers natin. Kung kaya, yun yung gustong ma-achieve ng Saysay the Journal of Bikol History, na idaan yung mga artikulo, yung mga manuscript submissions na natanggap namin sa isang mabusising proseso ng pag-review. So, isa siguro yon yung dearth of refereed publications. Pangalawa, gusto talaga namin makapag-provide ng materials sa mga mag-aaral, mga guro, sa mga, kahit yung mga enthusiast lang, yung mga may hilig sa kasaysayan, na hindi alam kung saan pupunta para magbasa ng mga history articles. So, ito yung siguro yung dalawang main inspirations namin.
Okay.
Ako, amazing. Actually, ang tanong ko rin, no, besides the inspiration, yung challenge din kasi of conceiving this journal in the midst of the pandemic na that was March 2021. Tama ba? 2021. Ito yung, alam ko medyo nagpipick din tayo ng mga panahon na ito nung time na. So, ano yung challenge talaga nung pagbuo ng journal? Madali kasi yung yung nag-meet, no, we've conceived of this project. But what was the challenge? No, lalo na
Tapos
pandemic.
may follow-up din ako. Kasi so this is very academic, di ba? Obviously, academic publication. How did Father get into the picture? Di ba?
Ayan, bakit nandiyan si Tama?
How did the church get into the picture?
Oo. Tama.
Father Francis, baka gusto mo sagutin mo yun.
I mean, for academics, I mean, you have the Dominicans, the Jesuits, academics, hindi ba? Ateneo is Jesuit run, no? Dominican, UST. But for our online viewers, alam na, academic is university-based and whatnot. But what is very important and interesting here is a publication of Saysay Bicol, and then the Archdiocese is here, hindi ba? Yung Archdiocese ni Father, the Shrine and Parish of St. Jude Thaddeus. So parang, how did this collaborative effort fruition? How did it paano na iluwal itong Saysay Bicol with the help of the church as an institution?
Ayun. I was about to retort yung sa comment na bakit ginagawa ng pare dito. It's an academic journal and everything. Sabi ko nga during my introduction sa yung launching ng Saysay Bicol, sa anong ginagawa ng isang pare dito. Well, it happens na ang paring ito ay nagkataon na isang historian too. So at the same time, we shared the same interest. Of course, si Jai was also my parishioner. Matagal tong nawala sa and then of course because he was teaching sa Manila, and then nung bumalik because of pandemic, ito na yung mga mawalang mga magawa, kung ano mga nabinilang yung butil ng kung ano, pati yung butas ng Skyflakes, di ba, binibilang natin. So, napagtunan pansin namin yung kung ano mga bagay. So, yung sinabi ni Jai actually, yung dalawang, yung dearth of materials and everything, and then to provide sources for teachers, are actually mga sanitized, sanitized reasons for coming up with the journal. Pero kung gusto mo talaga yung no holds barred na reason, I can give it to you.
Sige, alamin natin.
Sir yan,
Hindi
Father.
ako in-invite si Father kasi hindi ko kayang sabihin yan.
So, sige. Actually, yun na nga, born out of pandemic, so kung ano mga napapansin. And one of the things na we notice is, tama, yung dearth, tama yun. Wala, kulang talaga. And aside from the dearth of materials, it's the dearth of reliable historical works. So, I think this is a common problem sa mga local historians or sa local histories. Kasi one thing is being able to gather up yung mga data, maraming enthusiast, but yung methodology, that's another thing. So, at the same time, aside from methodology, meron din yung sinasabi nating accountability. Yung accountability. Kasi since, halimbawa, hindi ka magsa-cite ng mga sources, so it really leaves out the room for accountability. So, so sabi namin, bakit kaya ganito ang nangyayari sa atin? Bakit walang napuproduce na mga bagong scholars sa Bicol history, for example? Kasi siguro, one of the nasty things that really happened is that parang parang may gatekeeping na nangyayari. Alam mo yun, parang yung mga senior historians namin, parang unang-una, hinuhoard yung mga sources, hindi binibigay lahat. So, parang, ano yun, hindi mo na i-share sa iba, and that's why, walang sumusunod sa'yo, mga batang historians. So, sabi namin, one of the things that we really wanted to do is, why don't we share the resources that we have? Kung ano man, whatever dearth of materials we have, whatever little that we have, i-share natin, and then tingnan natin kung hanggang saan tayo makarating. So, it's born out of this disgust. At the same time, yung desire namin na talagang enough of that, and siguro let's build a more collaborative environment. And that's why naisilang itong one thing is journal, and another thing is the Saysay Bicol group. So it's an inclusive group of enthusiasts, historians, and even archaeologists, iba-ibang disciplines. Sabi namin, hindi namin nililimit lang sa mga historians. So that's all about it.
Thank you, Father.
Reasons.
Ang isa pang ano dyan is, yung tanong ni Aaron. Aaron, you were asking earlier, bago tayo sumegway.
Yung challenges, kasi maganda yung binabanggit na rin ni Father kanina na nagsama-sama yung mga tao daw na walang nagagawa ng pandemic, no, nabobore tayo, no. So we were able to conceive of this project na napakaganda kasi it actually address yung mga problems halimbawa in local history. Tama si Father na madalas sa local history sa Pilipinas, no, kahit ang dami ng historians, nandun pa rin yung parang gatekeeping na ako yung nagsimula nito, no, I'll keep the sources, ganyan. So, or aside from that, no, in some places, ang dami pa rin nakulang, no. Halimbawa, in my personal thesis sa Samar, pag babasahin mo, ilan lang din talaga yung nagpapakabihasa, no, sa pagsusulat nun. Pero aside from that, Father, yung challenge nga po of doing this big project during this time in a pandemic, and at the same time, syempre hindi lang kayo yung dalawa ni Jai yung nag-conceive nito. Maybe you can also introduce the other members of the team, no, that conceive of this journal. Jai is your Father.
Si Jai.
Yung nagsimula talaga kaming tatlo, si Father Francis, myself, and Vic Nierva, yung aming...
Trinity.
Oo, Holy Trinity yan.
Yeah.
Yung layout artist saka designer. Kaya kung ano yung ganda ng cover design, it's because of Vic Nierva. Siya yung nag-design nito. At meron kaming group chat, no? At dun sa group chat na yun, marami kaming issues on Bicol history na napag-uusapan, yung state ng scholarship and or the lack thereof even. Tapos, yung laging sinasabi ni Father Francis na instead of cursing the dark, we decided to, make or be the light in that darkness. Yun yung laging sinasabi sa amin ni Father. At ito yung naging fruit nito. At siguro yung challenges, naging challenge yung pag-gather ng mga tao. Kasi syempre may kanya-kanyang commitments, may kanya-kanyang day jobs. So hindi namin talaga maasahan na whenever we want it, nandyan sila. No? So dapat properly coordinated. Kasama rin namin si Marian Encinas at si Ana Rodriguez. Dalawang professional editor sila. Galing sa Synchrogenics Philippines at CNE Publishing Incorporated. So ito yung aming mga manuscript editors. At nag-invite din kami ng dalawang editorial assistants, si Cristiana Embate, dating nagtuturo sa DepEd, at si Earl Hernandez, na instructor sa Partido State University, and I think he's now on his way to UCLA to pursue his PhD studies in archaeology. Kung hindi ko nagkakamali, sa UP rin siya nag-MA in anthropology, si Earl. So ito talaga yung unang editorial team na kinumpose namin last year. And then of course, isa-isa ko na rin hinanap, tinipon yung mga pwede mag-serve as editorial board members. Siyempre, inuna ko yung mga colleagues natin sa UP si Kirby, si Ma'am Ross, si Hobie.
Kilala natin yan, oo.
Kilala natin yan. Na andyan sila sa taas. Parang apat sa 8 yata. Yes, 4 of the 8 members yata ay galing sa history department. 4 or 3. Pero yes, sila yung mga una kong in-email talaga. And then, nag-email din ako dun sa mga dati kong naging teachers sa Ateneo, ng MA, pati na rin yung mga kilala at batikang mga historiador at social scientists. Tulad na lamang ni Doc June Aguilar, ni Patricia Abinales, Nicole Kuunjaga Boitis, no? Sina Aya Ragrahio, yung nag-publish ng Archaeology and the Emerging Kabicolan noong 2012 sa UP. So sila yung mga talagang kinontak ko isa-isa. May isa lang na nag-decline pero that's very understandable dahil sobrang busy yung schedule niya.
Yeah.
But lahat talaga welcoming, lahat in-accommodate yung requests namin at tinanggap yung invitation namin to be part of this project. So we're very, very thankful for all our editorial board and advisory board members.
Nakikita ko ngayon International Advisory Board. Grabe yung names.
International.
Yung
First issue. Grabe, bigatin.
Yung mga familiar names in Philippine and Philippine history, local history din, doing local history, no? And another question that I want to ask is, so we've mentioned the personalities and whatnot, but institutions, ano yung mga key institutions that help give birth to this journal that we have right now? Sige, any of the
Binabanggit na rin ni Father Francis and ni Sir Jai yung Saysay Bikol.
Saysay Bikol is one. Oo.
Yeah.
Yung Saysay Bikol na dito, di ba, Jai? Tama ba?
Oo, yeah. El Presidente, ikaw na siguro mag-ano niyan.
Yeah,
may title pala si Father.
El Presidente.
Wala, napagkaisan lang ako maging presidente. Actually, Jai is really the big dynamo behind everything. So tingnan mo naman yung mga in-invite yung mga peer reviewer, hindi mga baka pasa-pasa pati article ko. So yung Saysay Bicol, talagang it's a very informal group. Hindi pa nga kami SEC-registered. We're working on that. It's a very informal group. Sabi nga ni Jai noong we interviewed him, it's now becoming like a movement. It's an advocacy also na, yun nga, to promote the local history, to anything about Bicol culture, language, heritage, lahat-lahat, all in one. So gusto namin ipasok doon. So etong Bicol, Saysay Bicol na to, it's a growing community. Hopefully, after this pandemic, mas lumaki pa siya. And, well, andyan yung UP, syempre, UP. Although, hindi talaga siya as institution, pero ito mga kasama ko, 2 UP. At mga taga-UP yung kausap ko. Si Vic was, of course, also a graduate of UP. Ito si Jai. Ako lang yung solong Tomasino dito, so talo ako lagi sa usapan ng mga influences nila. But of course, aside from being a Tomasino, also Jesuit trained din ako. So nag-aral ako sa Gregorian University. So yun ang most probably those are the institutions nag-influence, pero wala talaga siyang yung official backing. Even the Archdiocese of Cáceres, hindi naman talaga nagkataon lang. Nakatira ako sa Archdiocesan shrine. And may permanent address. Si Jai, walang permanent address.
NPA. No permanent address.
Si Bing is also based in Makati. So, yun ang may stable na mailing address. So, talagang nakalagay yung, na-mention yung Archdiocese part dito, di ba? Although, nagkaroon tayo dyan ng mission one time na pumunta tayo sa isang school sa Camarines Norte. And it's the Camarines Norte
State College.
CNSC.
State College.
CSLC. Now, ang sarap ng pagtanggap namin. It's a very warm welcome that we received. And parang naging part din yung pagbisita namin doon sa enthusiasm nila for yung accreditation nila. Di ba parang they're applying for this university status. Kaya nakaka-inspire. And I think sila lang yung sa Bicol ang merong Department of History na bumbo. And then they have like more or less 200 students enrolled sa kanilang department. So Yeah, wala pa kaming official backing from them, but we were warmly welcome. So I think these are some of the institutions na naalala ko dyan. Baka may gusto kang idagdag.
Ito yung peculiar sa journal namin kasi wala siyang institutional base. Unlike Philippine Studies, di ba, Ateneo, then Sacra, yung UST, yung Diliman Review, of course, UP. This is more of an initiative by individuals who came together, no? Pero yun nga, may mga partner institutions kami. Siguro dagdag ko lang doon sa nabanggit ni Father Francis, yung UCLA, courtesy of
Yun.
Dr. Stephen Acabado. Naalala ko kasi, isa sa mga pinublish namin for this issue is the Bicol Archaeological Project. And yung isa sa mga agreements namin, gawin naming open access yung article. So pwede nyo itong ma-download online soon. So yung ginawa ng UCLA in return, nagbigay sila nung tinatawag na article processing fee. Well, that's the amount an institution or individual pays para gawing open access yung journal article nila. So yun, sa halip na pagkakitaan namin yung grant na binigay sa amin, pinabigay na lang namin yung mga kopya ng journals sa iba't ibang individuals at institutions. So yung mga hawak yung kopya, actually, that's courtesy of UCLA. Kaya we were able to hand out complimentary copies because of UCLA. So may mga ganitong institutional support din kami natatanggap in little ways, pero very important ways yun para sa amin.
Mm-hmm.
Jai, wait. I was going to ask a question, biglang nawala sa utak ko. Biglang nawala sa utak ko. Aaron mo na.
Hindi, ang galing kasi nung kwento ni Father, ni Sir Jai na parang wala talaga siya yung mapapansin mong institutional backing na may halimbawa sa Ateneo nga may ang tawag dito, nakalimutan ko rin tuloy yung journal nila. Sorry po.
Yung Philippine Studies.
Philippine
Studies.
Sana po hindi nyo masamahin yung pagkalit. Hindi, may mga ganun eh. And I think one of the challenges nga, yung finances kasi eh. Now,
Yes.
yung yung pag-produce pa lang ng maiden copy. And then how do you sustain yung syempre ayaw na ako. I'm looking forward to reading another issue of Saysay
Oo
Bicol.
nga, ayan. Speaking of...
Paano yung...
Ayan,
naalala na
sige,
yung
go Aaron.
So,
Go,
paano
Aaron.
ano yung plans in the future? Well, at least with regards kung may mga susunod pang issue.
Oo. And connected dun sa tanong, is this biannual or an annual issue? And nabanggit na din ni Jai is going to be available open access. So you're going to develop a website or
Hopefully.
WordPress for this to be downloaded. Na connected dun sa dun sa Facebook page may Facebook page ba ang Saysay or na standalone?
Yung Saysay Bicol lang, hindi siya
yung
standalone
Saysay
na
Bicol
page.
lang, not the
Nandun
journal.
na rin.
It's connected then. Okay. Sige.
Yeah.
Go so Jai or si Father, yung related to this question, kung kailan siya lalabas and the sustainability.
It's an annual journal, so once a year. And hopefully by the end of the year ulit makapaglabas kami ng printed copy ng second issue. And actually may lineup na kami. Father Francis is going to highlight that lineup with this article on the Our Lady of Peña Francia. No? Ito yung aming featured article next issue. When it comes to the finances, dun talaga papasok yung individual at institutional support. Kasi hindi namin siya kayang i-sustain on our own. Kung kaya talagang we really campaign for people to subscribe, for libraries to purchase copies, and to support the journal. Dahil yun yung pagkukunan talaga namin ng pondo para makapag-produce ulit kami ng isa pang issue sa susunod na taon. This year actually, 2022. So, kailangan namin yung backing na yun ng mga institutions pati ng mga individuals. At ano yung isang tanong ni Gio kanina? Kung magkakaroon ng website, no? That's one of the future directions of the journal, and we hope to find the right people who will curate the journal website. At yung gagawin lang pala naming open access, yung Bicol Archaeological Project. Siyempre yung iba, mga copyrighted material na ito, at kakailanganin namin ng subscription fees for them to access the article. So at least yung Bicol Archaeological Project, we will make it readily available online as agreed upon a few months ago with UCLA.
Oo. And then, another backstory, if I can interrupt,
Yeah,
follow up ko yung sinasabi ni Jai. Alam, para malaman ng lahat, si Jai talaga actually nag-fund ng ng printing ng journal. So, ganun siya kayaman.
Baka
Ayoko na
naman.
nga sabihin yun. Hindi ko na sasabihin yun.
Sinabi ko ni Jai para ikaw yung
Father
guarantee
talaga.
ng sustainability ng journal.
Hindi ko kayang pondohan ito mag-isa. Actually, Father, yung isa pang usapin sa Saysay Bicol ngayon ay kung magkakaroon ba ng membership fee.
Membership
Kasi
fee, yeah.
yung isa sa mga suggestion ng editorial advisory board member namin, di ba, yung mga professional orgs, nabubuhay sila because of their membership fee. At kaya yung PHA, yung ano yung isa? National Historical Society? PNHS? Yun.
Yeah,
Kaya sila nakaka-publish every year dahil meron silang membership fee doon na pagkukunan ng pondo.
Yeah.
So, siguro isa yun sa pwede namin i-consider as suggested by one of our advisory board members.
Tsaka malaking tulong din na nasa parokya pa ako. Kasi tingnan mo, yung mga after ng misa, binibenta ko talaga, binabraso ko yung mga parishioner ko. So, bumili na kayo.
May endorsement na Archdiocesan.
Oo. Grabe.
Kung hindi kayo bumili, magsa-second collection tayo.
Lahat mo na sinasabi dito ay joke lang din. Second collection.
Pero I'm really very appreciative yung mga parishioners, may mga bumibili naman. May mga naawa naman.
Yeah.
And then of course, meron din yung, di ba Jai, we were like roaming around sa different coffee shops.
Nakikita ko sa sa page ng Saysay.
Yeah. Kaya i-follow po natin yung Saysay Bicol page. No, maganda yung page.
Salamat.
Mga listeners, viewers, Saysay Bicol. Yan.
Yes.
Paki-post po sa ating header dyan para makita ng ating mga viewers.
Shout out din pala kay sa mga partners namin, si Padua, si Chai ng Beanbag Coffee. Sobrang dami na namin nabenta ng journal sa Beanbag Coffee Robinsons. At isa talaga to sa favorite hangout place ko. Doon ako tumatambay. So tinitingnan ko rin yung mga benta namin kung nakailan na. And apparently marami na rin nabenta doon na kopya ng journal. More than, I think, 25 to 30 copies na. And that's already good, for a cafe. At kay Udeth ko din ng Beans and Cream Cafe sa Avenue Square dito sa Naga. Ito yung mga partner cafes namin. So hindi lang institutions like universities yung aming pinupuntahan, pati rin yung mga cafes. Sa Legazpi, meron din kaming partner, Father, di ba? Yung 528 Cafe Ilawood. Yeah. And then yung Diocese of Legazpi, syempre.
Yeah, ibalik natin yung parang Vienna Circle na sa mga coffee shop nagsisimula yung mga intellectual conversation.
Yeah, that's the idea. That's the idea. That's the idea. Kaya cafe talaga yung pinuntahan namin.
And then recently nakausap ko din yung editor ng Hapag. It's a theological journal, si Father Roland Tuason, a Vincentian. So sabi niya, when I presented to him yung maiden issue natin, sabi niya, oh, this is good. Sabi niya, makikipag-exchange the journal kami sa inyo. Pero ito, isang volume yung bibigay sa atin, di lang yung isang issue. Sabi. So things like this, mga support ng mga kakilala namin, it really helps. It really counts.
Networking and all, no?
Yeah.
Networking.
Nababanggit na ni Sir Jai din kanina, Father Francis, yung subscription. Baka pwede nating i-share sa mga viewers din o paano ba makakapag-subscribe sa Saysay Bicol or ano yung plans yan? If anyone wants to subscribe.
Well,
para hindi na binibenta ni Father sa mga, hindi niya pinipilit sa mga parishioners. Mag-subscribe na po tayo.
Hindi na magmakaawa, no? Well, yung mga interested individuals, pwede silang bumisita sa Facebook page ng Saysay Bicol at may makikita kayo doon na pinned post, no? Doon sa pinned post, may makikita rin kayong subscription form. May link doon sa isang Google form and just have to fill out that form at ipaprocess namin yung inyong mga orders in a couple of days. So ito yung
yan yung
I think share na yata. Yeah, that's the Facebook page.
Wow.
Paki-like na rin po, no? At kung interesado kayo mag-subscribe, nandun sa pinned post yung subscription form. Pwede rin kayong directly mag-email sa saysayjournal@gmail.com kung gusto niyo direkta talagang mag-order. Pwede rin ganun. But if you're in Naga City, may mga partner establishments po kami na pwede niyo bisitahin. Number 1 is Beanbag Coffee at Robinson's Place, Naga. There's Beans and Cream Cafe at Avenue Square. At nandiyan din ang St. Jude, Thaddeus Parish Office na sabi nga ni Father kanina. Nagbebenta rin ng kopya ng journal. Kung nasa Legazpi City naman po kayo, pwede kayong pumunta sa 528 Ilawad Cafe sa SM City Legazpi at sa Vita Catholica Bookstore ng Diocese of Legazpi. So involved na rin yung Simbahang Katolika sa Legazpi City sa aming pag-distribute ng journal. So maraming salamat po kay Father Joseph Salando for making this possible. And then sa DAET, sa Camarines Norte State College, they also offered to distribute our journals there in Camarines Norte. So maraming salamat po for our partners and partner establishments.
I think magandang initiative do kasi kumakalat yung recent studies on the history of Bicol, no? Tapos iba't ibang institutions yung involved like the church, mga businesses, 'di ba, local businesses. And they're part of spreading academic studies on local history of Bicol, no? Ganda. Okay. Sige, siguro meron dan isa pang question about
Ayan.
naman doon sa content, no?
Yes. So, para mas ma-entice yung mga subscribers. Ano ba yung
Sige,
laman?
Aaron.
Ano yung laman na aabangan natin dun sa first issue at dun sa mga baka may pasilip dun sa mga susunod ding issue, no? Lalo na si Father ay kasama
Father
na
dun
rin
sa second issue eh.
second issue.
Parang parang hindi naman parang list lang what do we expect with the maiden issue. We have the titles here and the authors, but why are they distinct? Remarkable studies on Bicol history. What makes them very interesting for those who do local history of Bicol?
Yeah. Siguro we can do it alternately, Jai. Like I'll present the first one.
Sige, Father.
Sige, paper presentation.
Oo nga.
So, nag-present mo si Father pati si Jai.
Actually, si Father
Kasi alam
yung
naman si
nag-propose
Jai.
niya, yung BAP. So, go, Father.
Alam
Sino yung
naman
cover
unahin natin
article?
yung article ni Jai.
Ano yun?
So yung una, it's actually a research, di ba? It's a research note, itong the Bicol Archaeological Project. Kasi ito, yung pinaka-recent diggings nila, itong may project sila, it's part of the Bicol Archaeological Project ng UCLA. Pumunta dito and nakipag-partner sa Archdiocesan to examine yung mga former Spanish settlement na kung saan nagta-thrive yung ang karamihan ng mga na-excavate nila yung mga sa churches. Okay, like for example, yung 2016, I think it's in Kipayo. And then the second one was in Camaligan. Although medyo malayo siya sa simbahan, pero it's near a chapel. And then yung isa, yung sa 2018, yung sa may Holy Rosary Parish sa Bombon. And ang ganda ng mga findings nila, so it practically discusses the deep past. Ito yung sinasabi na ng deep past instead of pre-colonial era. And it pushes back, I think, tama ba yun, Jai? If I'm not mistaken, 1,500 earlier than the yung sa Chinese contacts, di ba? So, medyo groundbreaking itong ginawa nila. And ito hindi basta-basta library research, it's also backed by their diggings. So may mga nakuhang mga artifacts which are really very interesting kasi like yung burial jars na may laman ng mga necklaces na made of for example yung mga ceramics, and then yung which walang technology nun sa Philippines during the time. So yun ang mga makikita mo yung mga earlier trades. Okay. Jai, ano yung second article natin?
Before I go to the second article, share ko lang din na si Father yung nag-suggest na i-involve yung Bicol Archaeological Project team. Kasi nung June or July, Father, last year, pumunta tayo sa Kipayo, diba? At sa Bombon. Kipayo and Bombon. Tapos nakwento sa atin doon na may mga nakuha silang skeletal remains na may mga gold necklaces, di ba, na suot-suot. So, sobra kaming na-intrigue kung ano ba yung project ng BAP. Kung kaya in-involve namin sila dito sa first issue. No? At ito yung aming napiling cover article dahil kinomemorate natin last year, yung 500th year of the arrival of Christianity. So medyo inappropriate namin to. At yun nga, sabi ko dito sa introduction, kailangan natin i-reframe na dapat yung native agency naman yung bigyan ng tuon at pansin. At hindi lang yung arrival ni Magellan, di ba? Masyado tayong nostalgic doon. O kaya kino-commemorate pa siya as a hero ng ibang Pilipino. So parang instead of doing that, we decided to emphasize the native agency instead, through archaeology or with the help of archaeology. So ito yung napili namin. Anyway, so yung pangalawang article naman ay sinulat ni Jethro Calacday, one of our friends as well. At si Jethro ay kasalukuyang PhD student sa University of Cambridge. Very timely din yung kanyang article na Racializing Reform, Bishop Francisco Gainza and the Creation of the Native Clergy in the Philippines. Dahil ngayon naman kino-commemorate natin yung sesquicentennial ng pagkamatay o yung execution ng Gumburza. So may kinalaman ito sa secularization issue at kung ano yung posisyon ng isang Dominikanong Arsobispo Obispo, hindi ko siya Arsobispo Father, no? Obispo ng Nueva Cáceres. Oo. At ito si Francisco Gainza. So, ang argument dito ni Jethro, tinitingnan niya yung complexities ng posisyon ng isang Dominikanong Kastilang praile on the secularization issue. He supported it initially, but later on, when it assumed proto-nationalist overtones, medyo dumistansya si Fray Francisco Gainza, at least according to Jethro Calacday. So magandang basahin ito in view of the 150th year of the execution of the Gumburza.
So ayun, napapanahon ng mga article.
Yes.
Yan, syempre, ito na, drum roll.
Father, yan.
Francisco Gainza and the establishment
Gainza
of
ulit.
the Santa Isabel. O Jai, ikaw na lang magpaliwanag.
Ikaw na mga paliwanag mo na yung papel mo.
Baka maging thesis defense na pag ako nagpaliwanag.
Yeah. Ito maganda rin kasi it's another mabenta si Francisco Gainza kasi si Jethro did an article on that, and then another one by Jai himself, itong Escuela Colegio de Santa Isabel. Kasi karamihan nga naman ng mga nababasa natin tungkol kay Bishop Francisco Gainza, medyo may pagka-bordering on hagiographical, or medyo nandun siya sa episcopology. So tama nga yung pinapoint out ni Jai, di ba? Yung Philippine history, hindi natin pinag-aralan yung history ng mga presidents, but rather yung mga milestones ng buong Pilipinas. So ang tendency ng initial local history namin dito, lalong-lalo when it comes to church history, is episcopology. Pag-aralan yung mga obispo and then yung administration nila. So dito si Jai, I think if I am doing justice to his article, he places Gainza in a bigger backdrop, which is yung sinasabing civilizing mission ng Spain. So usually mga papurin binibigay kay Gainza kasi ito yung eskwela normal sa unang eskwela normal ba in Jai, sa tama, no? And,
yes, Father. Oo.
Pero parang binibigyan ng
for women, for women.
For women, eskwela naman for women.
For women.
Parang he's analyzing the nuances na this is part of a bigger effort of Spain to civilize the native population. So and Jai, continue.
Yan.
Pupunta na sana ako sa next article.
Pero siya.
Present namin ni Father kasi yung mga Gainza papers noong 2018. So doon ko nakilala si Father Francis. Father 2018 yun,
Yeah,
sa Santa Isabel din yung venue. Pati si Jethro nandun din, nag-present din siya.
Oh.
So parang naging proceedings ito nung mga papel namin doon.
Yeah.
So yun. Finally, we have a research note written by Jose Eos Trinidad. Connected siya sa Ateneo de Manila University at kasalukuyan siya nag-PhD sa University of Chicago. High school classmate ko si Eos at tubong Camarines Sur din, kaya kababayan at kababata at kaklase nung high school. So, Yung kanyang essay naman is more anthropological actually, pero it talks about certain aspect of Bicol's past, and also Father Frank Lynch and his contribution to Bicol social sciences and or anthropology. So, ina-examine dito ni Eos yung ilang theoretical considerations on the big and little people, yung tinatawag na malalaking tao at saka maliliit na tao, dakulang tao and salit na tao in Bicol. At pinapakita niya dito na marami ng perspectives na pwedeng gamitin, hindi lang yung reciprocity perspective. Pwede rin i-examine yung big and little people through conflict perspective, at pwede rin i-examine through what's the other one? I'm forgetting. Tagal ko na hindi nabasa to. So, tatlong negotiation perspective. So, ito yung argument ng research note ni Eos Trinidad.
Yeah. And what do we expect for the second issue?
Yan.
Oh, nako.
Si Father yan.
Oh, Father.
I mean, hindi naman natin kailangan i-outline yung mga articles, hindi naman to article review. What do we expect na parang just give us an I assume nakita niyo na yung di ba? Nabasa niyo na yung for sure nabasa niyo na yung mga kasama doon sa issue number 2. So what are our audiences can expect doon sa second issue?
Sino ba sasagot dyan? Dead air by dead air. Ano nga bang ina-expect? Parang wala akong ina-expect masyado. I can speak only for my article. Kasi yung article ko is also part. Actually, sabay-sabay tayo nag-present nito, Jai, in one conference in 2018, way back in 2018. So nakakaya naman yung puro gainsa tayo, di ba? Dalawa na yung gainsa dito sa first article, sa first journal natin, sa first issue natin. Ito, it's also about gainsa, but this time, he was the one responsible for writing the local history of Our Lady of Peña Francia. Kasi before him, wala pa tayong sources about the local devotion to Our Lady of Peña Francia. But this time, parang binalikan ko yung mga sources nung ginawa ni Gainsa. So, bumalik ako sa Spanish sources. Ano yung mga hindi nakukwento? Kaya nga, it's more about the silences. Kasi usually popularized yung history ng Our Lady of Peña Francia. Parang memorized na yan ng mga tao, and then usually, sabi nung peer reviewer ko, talaga namang hagiographical because it's the story of devotion. Pero,
baka nanonood sa Father,
nandito ba?
I can't say.
Nanonood siya. Kung nanonood ba siya, salamat sa mga generous words mo.
Review.
Nag-run? It was really helpful kasi nagkaroon ng focus yung article ko. More like it.
And we have several questions sa comments natin. And ito, mga pagbati muna.
Yan.
Ayun. Sineryoso ni Jeff yung ko. Sinabi ko sa kanya.
Watching
Salamat po.
Hello, Jeff.
And ito may nagtatanong, how do we join Catherine Villamor? How do we join Saysay Bicol Group?
Oh, ito ay taga-Masbate to, ay galing sa Department of History rin at kabatch ko.
Oh, wow.
Cathy. Okay. Kung tama ako na siya to, kung siya to. Pili ko na yan. Ikaw ba yan, Cathy?
Hindi ko muna confirmation.
Hindi siya to, alam ko siya. At galing ng to. I think nag-aaral sa AST, Archaeological Studies.
Archaeological Studies.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
So, paano daw po mag-join?
Message ka lang, Cathy, sa page namin, and we will contact you right away on how to join. May fill outan ka lang naman na form. And yun, sa next meeting, papakilala ka na namin na member ng Saysay Bicol.
Yan.
May taga-Masbate pala tayong member, no? Si Dr. Renato Pelorina ng Cavite State University. So may kasama na siyang mas batenyo sa Saysay
batenyo.
Bicol if ever pag sumama ka, Kati.
Yan, yun. So, mag-message. And doon sa mga nanonood sa atin ngayon, kung gusto sumali, mag-message sa Facebook page ng Saysay Bicol. We have a question kay Rene.
Ang dami, Rene.
Si Rene is at our former colleague at Xavier School.
Yes.
Kami ni Jai sa social studies sa history, no? History. So question niya, what are the challenges and hindrances in gathering existing valuable sources on Bicol history, and two, in what platforms do you intend to make these sources available? Wow. Yung sources na mismo usapin. How do you make the sources available? Sige, any of our guests.
Siguro yung challenge. Sorry, Father.
No, it's okay, Chay. Go ahead.
Well, yung isang challenge dyan, Rene, pag galing sa private archives or private collection yung mga sources, definitely kakailanganin ng permission from them para ma-publish mo ito. So, minsan nga humihingi pa ng bayad yung institution para lang ma-publish mo ito sa journal or sa website. So siguro isa yung challenge na haharapin namin if we are to publish those valuable sources that we're gathering. In what platforms? Of course, in print, you will have this hopefully for the second issue. And then yung website nga, as I mentioned earlier, isa sa mga future directions ng journal. Yeah. Father,
may dadagdag.
Yeah, dun sa first question, di ba? It's a very, ang pinaka-specific example dyan yung archives mismo ng Archdiocese of Cáceres. Kasi talagang walang order pa talaga. Kaya nga dahil dito sa Saysay Bicol na to, hindi ko alam kung magpapasalamat ako sa mga to. Hindi. Kasi because of our eagerness na mag-research dun sa archives ng Archdiocese, nag-volunteer na kami na i-organize yung archives. And that's why in-appoint ako ng Archbishop na at the same time maging director ng Ecclesiastical Archives ng Archdiocese. So nadagdagan yung trabaho ko as parish priest.
In denial pa siya nung dumating yung appointment.
Appointment. Pakialamero ka, eto sa'yo. Appointed ka na dyan. So, pero maganda yung kinalabasan. Kaya nga, sabi namin, it's a community, it's a growing community. Kasi dahil dito, nakapag-invite kami ng yung mga marunong, unang-una, at least sa library science, and then a little bit of archival science. So, this time, magte-train na kami aside from purchasing equipment, magte-train na kami ng mga personnel. Medyo naudlot na ng konti because of the pandemic. And so this time, nandun na kami sa inventory part. So, ano ang possible platforms for this? Di ba sa page natin, Jai, we make it a point na every time magsusulat kami ng article, we bring them back to the sources.
Yeah.
So that's another popular way
social
of doing
media,
it.
Online. Yeah.
Social media. So you can always verify the sources. Hindi namin tinatago yung mga sources.
Walang ganun.
Walang ganun. So,
at mahalaga, hindi ini-invento, Father. Hindi ini-invento yung sources.
Oo, nafa-fact
Walang
check.
template. Walang template yung bibliography, ganun.
Oo.
Ay, grabe. Hugot na yun, Jay.
Oh no, academic chismis.
Okay, stop streaming na.
Stop. The views and opinions of the guests.
May disclaimer.
Okay, may follow-up question si Rene.
Meron pa patlo, yeah.
Yeah, do you intend to collect, publish, or republish previously produced researches and articles pertinent to Bicol history into Saysay Journal?
Yeah, sasagot ako dyan dahil dun sa tanong nyo kanina kung ano yung i-expect sa second issue. May isang article sa Filipiniana Sacra published, I think, in 2021, last year lang, on the history of Daraga Albay, and then the Franciscan missionary responsible for establishing the town of Daraga. We hope to translate the article into English so that it's more accessible to our readers. And nakapag-secure na rin kami ng rights kay Father Jess Miranda, editor ng Filipiniana Sacra, to republish and translate the article. It's written by Cayetano Sanchez Fuertes, yung dating archivist ng our Franciscan Archives sa Madrid, Father, no? Yung AFIO in Madrid.
Okay. So yun, no? Yon ang mga tanong sa ating chat. Okay. Nakaka 1 hour na tayo ng usapan natin. Di ba? Kwentuhan lang. Nakaka 1 hour na tayo. Sige, Aaron, magtungo tayo dun sa last part ng ating discussion. Go, Aaron.
So, para matapos natin ng matiwasay at mataya yung ating magandang kwentuhan ngayon, napunta tayo sa ating pagtatasa.
Okay,
Yes,
parang
ayan.
closing question lang natin, Aaron. Ano yung
Hindi, kasi kanina na-highlight na yung challenges and the inspiration of having this kind of journal. So siguro isa dun sa makikita natin yung pag-highlight niya sa local history. So yung unang tanong siguro, what is the significance of local histories? No? Halimbawa, particularly yung sa Bicol. And at the same time, how can we use it? And at the same time, may encourage na rin yung mga subscribers na in understanding yung national history. So, Father, Sir Jai.
Okay. Sige, I'll go ahead.
Go, Father.
Yung isa sa sinasabi naming informal vision mission is, of course, to bring Bicol to the world and the world to Bicol. Why would the world be interested in Bicol? It's because yung Philippines, alam natin, it's not a monolithic country, di ba? We are an archipelago, and so mahirap na mag-generalize ka. And I think ito yung mga experience ng mga naunang historians sa atin na you cannot really describe, for example, the Philippines just by focusing on the metropolitan cities or yung mga big cities or yung mga big names. And if you don't go to the local like provinces and the different regions, talagang what you will have is a hasty generalization of the Philippines. And so it's very interesting to look na may mga events tayo, may mga phenomenon sa Philippine history na iba-iba yung receptions in the different regions. So I think it really pays to go to local histories kasi you get a bigger picture, you get a more dense and nuanced take of the different phenomenon sa history. That's one.
Siguro yung isa sa mga hopes namin ay mai-replicate din yung parang Saysay Bicol sa iba't ibang provinces. And nakakatuwang makita na may mga ganito ring initiatives sa iba't ibang localities. Yung local historical network halimbawa, sobrang laki ng network na yun. Nakakatuwa kasi nakikita ko may mga estudyante ako actually yung taga Isabela na gumagawa din ng ganitong initiative doon sa org sa UP. Di ba recently ginanap yung Isaw, yung kanilang event, no? At highlight nila doon yung history, UP Isaw. Yeah, oo, ng Kaisa, UP Kaisa. So parang nire-replicate din somehow. Yung isa doon, isa sa mga officers sila, estudyante ko. Kaya tuwang-tuwa ako makita na may ganitong ripple effect yung aming initiative, and then of course, yung kahalagahan ng local history, nasabi ko na to sa isang previous episode, na ito yung magsisilbing building blocks sa pagsusulat ng isang mas komprehensibo, mas inklusibo, at mas ganap na kasaysayang pambansa. Mas magandang i-reorient na imbes na magmula sa metropolitan cities, sa Maynila lalo, sa Katagalugan, gagawin natin itong isang bottom-up approach, no, sa pagbubuo at paggigiit ng isang kasaysayang pambansa. At nasabi na rin ni Father na gusto nating itama yung mga hasty generalizations na mga naisulat ng mga national histories. At naipakita sa atin ni Father Schumacher yan in the case of Bicol history, no, na pwedeng gawing corrective measure yung local history sa mga generalizations na ito.
Tama. Parang sususugan ko lang din yung sinabi ni Father at ni Jai na there are nuances that happens in the localities na hindi nakukuha ng national histories that were produced from the 50s to the 60s up to the 60s, hindi ba? Parang andun yung mga national histories, nationalist interpretations, ganyan, di ba? The macro scale of history. There are nuances that are important that can change our view and perspective on the effects and the struggles of different localities vis-a-vis important historical events sa isang general timeline, no? So mahalaga yung mga ganito kasi nalalaman natin yung mga specific aspects about how did people, sabi nga ni Huntington, challenge and response. How did different societies accept the challenges and how did they respond? Kasi hindi naman yan blanket hindi ba? Iba-iba yan Yon. Ikaw, Aaron, may dadagdag ka?
Ako i-highlight ko lang yung sinabi ni Jay kasi yun yung tumatak yung importance ng local history sa pagbuo ng isang inklusibo, di ba, komprehensibo at ganap na pag-unawa sa kasaysayan. Yun yung maganda, I think that encapsulates yung talaga significance of local history. Kasi ang hirap din na halimbawa inuunawa mo yung kasaysayan ng isang lugar. Pero yung batayan mo ay halimbawa Maynila, no? Ano ba yung changes dito? I-apply mo. I think may mga gaps na naiiwan kapag ganun. So, isang magandang initiative yung Saysay Bicol. And na-appreciate ko din nabanggit ni Sir Jai yung sa Isabela naman dahil yun naman ang aking
I see.
Doon nang galing ang aking
I see.
Sa mga kamag-anak sa Isabela.
That's
So,
nice.
kahit ako wala pa rin masyadong I haven't read something na substantial on the history of Isabela. And dami dun I think second largest province pero sa Pilipinas pero wala pang gaano rin na isusulat. So magandang initiative.
So dapat i-promote natin ang local histories talaga, no?
Tama.
So with that, again we are presenting the maiden issue of Saysay, the Journal of Bikol History. And we are very thankful to our guests for tonight, si Jai at saka si Father Francis, who are both the editor and the associate editors of the journal respectively. And they've napaunlakan ng ating imbitasyon para ngayong gabi, no? At mauulit pa sa kaso ni Jai, naulit. Mauulit pa mga guestings, Father.
Si Father, di ba?
For sure.
Lumabas natin na dito na din si Father sa issue isa sa mga journal writers, authors. Invite natin sila para i-promote ang kanilang second issue na lalabas, no? So thank you very much. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Jai, no?
My pleasure.
Maraming salamat, Gio. Aaron, maraming
I
salamat.
hope go Aaron, go.
Pa-autograph sabi ko.
Dapat pala pinirmahan mo, no? Ni Father, ni Jai bago.
Si Jai, oo. Andyan yung
April, punta ako ng UP.
Yan, sige.
Kita tayo.
Lilibre daw siya.
Book timing.
Ubus na, nasa journal.
Sabi kasi ni Father, siya daw yung so malilibre daw siya.
Patay tayo.
Okay. Sige, maraming salamat sa ating mga online viewers. This has been episode 56, tama? Episode 56, season 5 of Throwback Kasaysayan. I think this is our third episode for the 5th season. And salamat sa lahat ng nanood, ng mga viewers, nag-comments, nagbigay ng comments, and salamat most especially sa ating guest, si Jai at si Father. Thank you. Good job po dito. Promote po natin to. Thank you. Long live local histories. Thank you po, local historians.
Salamat sa promotion.
Thank you po. Thank you. And sige, Aaron, thank you. We'll see each other next episode 57.
Right.
Thank you. Good night to everyone.
God bless. Good night.
God bless.
Thank you.